Okay, it's 7 o'clock. We're going to call the meeting to order. I ask that you please rise and join me in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Yep. Haines.
Here.
Fuller.
Here.
Abbott.
Here.
Heaton.
Here.
Bender.
Here. And who do we have attending virtually?
Sorry. We have Annette Smith and Gary Deere.
Okay. And in the audience, if you folks would identify yourselves, please.
Sure, I'm Brett Blanchard.
Rick Porter.
Tracy Porter.
Bill Payne.
And Bill Payne. Okay.
If everybody could make sure they sign in on the form, that would be great.
Yeah, I think it's all set.
I will entertain a motion to set the agenda, and we have a few changes. We are without our treasurer present this evening, so the treasurer's report and the items listed under it will not happen. And then first item under the road commissioner's report, Bridge 7 maintenance agreement is pulled for this evening. Any other changes? Motion to set the agenda, please.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Fuller, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Heaton. There have...
Yeah, if you can just hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. Just give me 30 seconds, please. Oops. I didn't bring all my stuff, so I'm gonna... Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so, motion to set the agenda. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Agenda is set as printed with those items that we pulled. Okay, next we open the meeting to the public.
I guess that's my part.
I think you are listed actually as
You're
a...
listed, so you're okay. Is there anyone else in the public here who wants to speak first? No, no one there. How about online? Do we have anyone who wants to speak? We have Annette Smith.
Yes, I wonder if we could have video tonight. It makes it so much easier to follow what you're saying.
No. That was agreed upon a long time ago, and that we're not going to keep doing this every meeting.
So,
You've got a reorganization meeting come up in March. If you want to propose changes at that time, that would be appropriate. Any other people virtually that would like to speak?
is there anyone else virtual who would like to speak? Gary? And let me just make sure that nobody else is...
I'm fine.
Okay, Gary's fine. Let me just make sure there's nobody else online who is waiting to join. It's a little bit... what I tried to do was automatic join, but it isn't working, so I have to keep an eye on that. Okay. I actually had a couple of questions, and I think you were actually talking about beforehand, but yesterday the dump was closed. Mm-hmm. Can you just comment on that?
That will come up
Okay.
later in the meeting.
And the second question is, I personally would like to understand the video thing. So I think the public should know who is for and who isn't for video, who's on the board.
This was decided at the organizational meeting. That's the time to do it. When the board reorganizes after town meeting, if people want to suggest something different.
But wouldn't it be helpful for the public to know who on the board is for and who isn't?
Why?
because it's a
So that we
public-
can have a letter writing campaign or something? I'm not playing.
No,
those
what I'm
games.
suggesting is just to put this to rest. If somebody made a motion.
It's been put to rest back in March, and if you want to change it next March, go right ahead.
Your opinion's
Or
clear. Thank you.
try.
I was just looking for the rest of the board. Thank you.
Well, the chairman does have prerogatives, and I choose to use them. Thank you.
Agreed. Thank you.
So, anybody else in the public that would like to comment on anything? Okay. We have a procedure for remote access. Is there anybody who is not familiar with it that wishes to have me read it? Not hearing any, we'll dispense with the reading of that. Motion to adopt the select board minutes of December 11th, 2025.
I'll make the motion.
There's a motion by Mr. Haines. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mr. Heaton. Are there corrections or changes to the minutes that you'd like to make?
The only one I had, which I can't do, was there was an Andrea online last time, and I don't know who it was.
I
for
think
last
we
name.
thought it was Andrea Stayer.
But I couldn't reach out to her. I don't have her information, and she's not online tonight. So I'm not gonna add her because I simply can't guarantee that was her. So I don't have a better solution. Unless you as chair would like me just to put her on it, I can update.
The only thing I would put would be Andrea, and in parentheses, a question mark.
Okay, I can do that. I'll update that before the farm.
That's why we do ask people to identify themselves and the area of town where they live. Okay, back to the minutes. Any other discussion before we call the question? All those in favor of adopting the minutes of December 11th, 2025, please say aye. Aye. Okay, that passes unanimously. Next, we are going to hear the complaint of Brett Blanchard regarding an incident that took place on November 5th, 2025 at his property and Lilly Hill Road.
Thanks, I appreciate the invite also. So you already have the date, just give you the basics. I was in my house again about 9:30 in the morning. I heard a sound that I wasn't familiar with, so I just looked out the window and noticed that town truck was pulling looked like an industrial-sized leaf blower. And I live on the very bottom of Lilly Hill Road, the old Lilly house. I've been there 25 years. So he was starting up the road, and I was watching him as they're shooting road debris, rocks and so on at the lawn. Wasn't that big a deal, but then I saw him slowly hit my mailboxes, not that big a deal. But then my car, which was nearby, it was going very slowly and just kind of sandblasted my car very slowly. Then I watched him, somewhat horrified at this point, hit my garage and the windows. So I got my shoes, everything on, and drove up and spoke to him. Wasn't very clear, I didn't raise my voice or anything. I just asked him if he had seen my car down there, and he said he had a lot to watch while he was going up the road. And I said, but I think it's the first thing you would see going up the road. He apologized again and just said that he has a lot to watch, but he's sorry. And I drove back home and wrote the letter, which would have been, I waited a full day to make sure that I wrote the letter when I could think a little bit more clearly. And that's when I wrote it using what was, I think, it's called the town complaint, but it may not have gone anywhere. So I came in and they nicely pointed out that I could just send it directly to the town clerk, which I did.
With pictures.
Correct. Right.
Now, was there any other than, and make sure I word it right, there was some damage, or was there an insurance claim that we're looking at here, or is there anything that
I've done nothing besides contact the group here.
Okay, but is there any like broken glass or anything that,
There's 2 broken windows in my garage, and then there's paint chips and marks on my car.
okay, so I would assume you're gonna submit a insurance claim to the town on that?
If that's the process, that's why I'm here, just to see what is the best process to do.
Yeah, no, that would be the process.
So I would need to contact my insurance company, is that what I do, to contact yours, or?
I think he can talk with Janice to file a claim against.
Yeah, I think you could probably go directly to our insurance company.
Okay.
Because it wouldn't be being disputed.
Okay.
I believe you could just go to the town clerk with, you've already given her the pictures, and she would help you file a claim with.
And the
our
town's insurance company would reach out to you and just go over they would probably have you fill out a form as well, I'm sure, and then settle up with you.
So best steps then are would be to meet with Janice, who I'd met with prior, so I know who she is.
Yeah, and just tell her that, and I'm sure Brad will pass it on, that you're gonna submit a claim to our insurance company on the damages.
Okay.
And I would suggest that you try and set up an appointment with her, because you never know
Gotcha.
what's going on.
Just put a note to myself, I will not remember.
And as a general rule, Janice is in Mondays and Wednesdays.
Okay, thank you very much. Anything else I would need to do?
No, we appreciate you coming in, and, I guess we can apologize that it's been dragging out now for 3 months, that your first letter or your first thing never got to us, and then when it did, we have addressed it.
Right.
So,
Yeah, no, those things happen. I understand as someone who received a lot of email in the past.
My apologies for missing you you were sitting in the audience, I think, and
Yeah.
I missed it during the meeting, so.
Yeah, it's no worries. I have another vehicle to bill you, so.
yeah, no, but, hopefully, if there is any problems, just, contact us more, but the clerk should be able to.
And she may well be in tomorrow morning, so.
Yeah, I'll plan on calling her Monday then and set that up. I won't blindside her. All right, thank you very much.
All right,
Okay,
thank you.
Okay, so that's done. Next, we'll move to the transfer station. We have a number of things happening there. Steve, do you want to brief us on the,
Yeah, as far as transfer station moving, nothing has been done on that between work and holidays and things that I'm not getting into. I have not done anything with that up for the Four Corners project. The transfer station down here, Sunday afternoon, Cliffy had a heart attack. So the road crew had a spare key for the Packers. We tried our best to keep the dump running on Monday. Bob stayed late to make sure that somebody was here till 4 to lock up and take care of it. Wednesday, we had a Packer break, and we were in the middle of a storm. We had a lot of upset people and quite a few rude people. We got the Packer, Casellas came and fixed the Packer by 10:30. We opened the dump and did our best to keep it going, work on vehicles and work on the roads. The best option we have right now until Cliffy is better is to do what we're doing, and it's going to be a struggle for everybody because we can't be here to babysit it. And we're not gonna put up with being walked on. We're trying to help, we're not gonna deal with it. Last year on transfer station, we lost $61,000. And it's my opinion that if Cliffy can't do this, then we ought to get rid of the transfer station together.
Go to private pickup.
Go to private pickup, go to taking it to East Dorset yourself.
A lot of towns are doing
A
that.
lot of towns are doing it, and to lose that much money to be treated like crap when you're trying to help people, to me it's not worth dealing with.
Well, I think the biggest problem with that, and this is going back 40 years plus, is there used to be a lot of garbage just tossed side the road, and the people, a lot of the people who can afford the private pickup are more than happy to share the burden, I'm sure. But I think what you're gonna find is we may end up with twice the amount of, or 100 times the amount of garbage being tossed side the road if we do not
And
provide a
we
municipal.
heard before that if we didn't have a dump day, it would be worse, and I haven't seen where it's gotten worse.
A dump day and having a transfer station are two different things, in my opinion. And I don't think most towns are not running a transfer station to make money. We don't want to lose any more than we have to, but maybe we can look at ways to try to not lose 61,000. But I still think right off the bat, to just say we're going to close the transfer station could be. I'm not sure I'm in favor of that.
Right, and obviously that isn't on the table today. It was his opinion, and we're just all giving our opinion right now. And I do know that we used to deal with a lot of roadside garbage making it as accessible as it is. And that would be my only concern, is if we make it so that people have to either go out of their way, or, you know, a lot of people aren't gonna go to private pickup. They're gonna go to they're gonna drop it off where they can, would be my thoughts. And it doesn't take a lot of garbage to really make a town look bad.
I don't think you should put up with either, Steve. You know, I think maybe, you know, if the town, we find a way to communicate better too. Once we know something happens, we know there's gonna be disruptions, that we can somehow put the word out so people know why there might be issues too, so they know that things might not be running.
Well, I think that was the thing, is this board and previous boards, we've never had a real formal plan for this type of emergency. I mean, the road crew has always stepped in. It's technically not in their contract to do.
Right, and with the storm, it's, I mean, I get your point too, but I think we gotta do a better job too if something happens at Cliff. We gotta put word out there so people can expect delays or expect them to be closed, because it's not fair to expect them to take care of the storm.
Yeah, because the thing is, to find somebody who wants to be the backup.
Oh, I know.
To,
Right.
where you may be called in once in a great while,
I know.
is probably an impossible position to find. I don't know if we should try to formalize it where we have a town crew member do what you guys have been doing as part of our contract in our next
Kind of a fill-in position type thing.
yeah. And, you know, if it became a permanent opening or a long-term opening, I guess at that point we would have to hire for that position. But to have a backup for that position, other than the clerk, the treasurer, and the assistant, it's the town crew. So I think our best, I mean, and you guys are more than competent to do it. I think the biggest problem that could have happened too, as well, as a lot of people buy their stickers here instead of having things pre-stickered. And I think, as you had said, I think you had called me that day when that they were having trouble getting them in here.
Yeah, this is Brad Bender speaking. This problem has gone on since as long as I can remember, and we've tried all kinds of different things. And it seems like the only thing we can do at this point is to once again raise the fee of the stickers. Now, we only did it, what, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
But if we're experiencing this kind of $60,000 loss, I mean, that's more than can reasonably...
Now, where did you come up with that number, Steve? That was...
Right out of our budget. Because I looked at on the first page, I believe it is, was dump revenues of $18,110. And then waste disposal, our actual was $79,037.76.
Now, Casella, I had spoken with them about not picking up as often. And I guess I've never followed up to find out if, because we had decided they were picking up boxes that weren't full and that they could go a whole nother cycle of dump days. And that's was supposed to be what they were doing, because they were saying, oh, your biggest cost is you're picking your boxes up too much. And I had, spoken with Dale Baker about it, and he said, oh, well, we'll not pick them up as often. And that was supposed to be...
To the best of my knowledge, the trash is being picked up every Thursday, and the recyclable is every other.
And we should be able to go 2 weeks on the, or did we, and Cliffy would be the one to ask, because he was kind of the guy that they were supposed to.
But it's not the issue too, if they weren't just gauges and things to tell you how full they were.
And there is the gauges.
We weren't using them, and that's why they're getting picked up and they weren't ready to be picked up.
I had asked Casella, meaning Dale, to come up and go over this with Cliffy and try to make sure that, because obviously our options are, and there's multiple options because we have no contract with them right now. We're so I mean, we could go to a different carrier that wants to be more user friendly if these guys don't. And so I asked them, go work with him, try to help him so we can, there's no sense of them pulling empty boxes. And if that's the case that they haven't, obviously we need to discuss with them, maybe as a formal in the meeting, we should invite them to the next meeting, a representative from Casella, and get their input at the meeting.
And that would be valuable going forth if we do relocate the station.
Right, but I think at hand right now, I think there's no reason they can't come in and go over this with us in a meeting. I think the public would all like to hear about it. So
Do we know what Cliffy's status is now? How's he doing?
He's had 2 stints put in and he's doing well, but I haven't heard when he's going to be allowed to go back to work.
is he still in the hospital?
No, he's home. And his son said he was coming in Saturday, and I told his son, no, he's gonna wait till Monday. Because we have somebody to cover for Saturday, but there again, it'll be depending on the storm that's coming in. Because we're looking at potential dealing with ice Friday night into Saturday.
So Wednesday, after Monday, we kind of got caught off guard with the heart attack. And Wednesday, Steve called in our backup with Riley. And so we did have 4 guys for the event meaning we could have a dump attendant and still, get our roads taken care of as quickly as possible, and that's when we had the breakdown of the dumpster, or the packer. So, I think we had everything pretty well under control for Wednesday with the storm, but with the key breaking off in the thing, that threw things off.
Did he
And-
have his heart attack at work or at home?
At home. Yeah.
Rick Porter, couldn't you, when the dumpster's empty, you push the button, count it, 1,001, 1,002, get to 1,030, it shuts off. At the end of the week, push it again, it gets to 1,020. The end of the next week, 1,010.
That would work, Rick,
know what I'm
but
saying?
they actually have a gauge on there.
I see, yes.
And
But I-
supposedly, that's been calibrated to the point where it's accurate. I think there's been some problems with Cliffy understanding it, or the fact that we're just telling them carte blanche, keep picking up every week. And I think our biggest thing that we have the ability to do, and really the only thing we have the ability to do right now, is cut down on the number of pulls. So you're right, the counting of the time it takes for the packer to hit, compaction.
Empty to
Yeah, would do the same as that gauge supposedly,
keep you in the close.
but if we could cut back even by 35% on those pulls, that would probably save us, 20 grand, 15 grand.
Even if it was 50, it'd be 15,000.
Yeah, so I mean, that is the direction we do have to try to do. I think we don't have many other options.
No,
right
it's
now.
impossible to predict, How do we know when somebody's gonna do a heavy-duty spring cleaning?
Yeah, no.
So are we gonna invite them to the next meeting, or?
Yeah, no, I think we should, invite them, that we'd like to go over the haul number of polls, or how we do our polls with them, is probably the main topic of discussion we'd like them to talk to us about.
And if we're gonna continue on, in my opinion, if we're gonna continue on with the road crew being the backup, we should never mind the Four Corners project. Completely. Because I can't justify sending somebody from here to there when we're working on a truck, or to have Bob leave his routes down here to go up there because me and Larry are someplace else. It just does not make any sense to me to even consider it if the road crew's the backup plan.
All right, and I don't know if that would be the formal plan for the whole long thing, but I think for the short term, it definitely is the only plan we got.
Right, I understand that's the only plan we've got, but if that's what we're leaning on going forward, I don't think the other is even feasible.
Right.
My opinion.
No, it makes sense.
Okay.
Any other divine inspiration on the transfer station? Okay, we'll move on then to the road commissioner's report.
Well, as far as the roads go, if you guys want to hear from Steve how many times it snowed this year, or if it's this month, do you have a count? Was it 30 days this month?
Too many.
Two, it didn't.
Keep up the good work.
Other than plowing, sanding, salting, that's been the in fixing of equipment. That's the highlights of the report. Hopefully, winter isn't as vengeant for the rest of the season, because it will put us over in our salt budget. But
It's probably gonna put us over on sand too, because right now, we put up a larger pile than we did last year, And when Pike opens next week, I'd like to go back to hauling because we're already starting on the downhill slope. We're probably gonna end up using more stone than we figured for because just the way we've been going, we're using a lot of it.
VTrans 2026, I don't know what that is, Brad.
Small scale grants are open if we want to apply for any. There was an email that went out to the select board members about the different grants that are open.
It either didn't make it to me or didn't make it to where I thought it was worth discussing. Anyone else see it that it...
Really?
I can't say, I think it came in. I think we got the email.
Right.
I thought I forwarded it to everyone. And on yours, I usually put high priority because I know.
I won't look at it if it... Road crew vacancies. We have had quite a few.
Yeah, we've had numbers, Greg, we've had a number of applicants, I mean, over the 30, but of those applicants, only probably about, I'd say 10 really have any of the qualifications looking for. So we've interviewed 2, and I think we're gonna try to follow up with one of the individuals. And I did meet with those folks, or talk to them today, the Indeed folks, to try to understand. It's a learning curve for me too, to understand how to use it and make it better for the town. So I am learning, you know, and you have to, so anyways, we hopefully will also see some more candidates that closer match what we really want in the next, I'll say, week or so. Because we probably have, with what we voted for money and approved, we probably have about 2 weeks left actually, because it doesn't go by timing. I've learned that too. It's more by traffic. We get charged by traffic, not by applications, it's by people showing interest in the job, not necessarily applying. But we've changed some things and tweaked some things to hopefully get, like I said, people have to be more serious about what they want to do to get to us, so we're not having to siphon through a person that's had 6 cooking jobs that wants the road crew job, or the person that was in Dubai that wants the Danby road crew job. But no, we've seen a lot. There's been some good. We missed a couple timing wise. When I reached out, they'd already taken a road crew job, but so I think it's been worthwhile so far.
Oh, I think it really has. I mean, even the interviews we've done have been at least applicants that are actually qualified for the position. So
hopefully soon, Steve.
I'm not gonna hold my breath.
Spirit.
To backtrack for a minute, the VTrans small scale loans that we were just talking about are for things like curve signage, intersection signage, edge line striping, stop bar and crosswalk pavement marking, rumble strips, replacement of damaged or deteriorated guardrail.
what's the amount of that?
Have some of that. 5,000 to 50,000.
Nice, we should apply for guardrails
So
on that.
pass this to you.
Or to Steve, he can.
Any other road commissioner business?
Nope.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have old business of the assistant clerk position. I have seen some writing from the town clerk about what the assistant does, but we keep coming back to the old problem of in the contract, which for I think we're pretty unique that we're the only town probably in Vermont that has an assistant town clerk hitched in with the road crew as far as a union contract is concerned. And the only language in the contract talks about a disciplinary action as defined in Vermont statutes annotated, wherever. But it's a vicious cycle. How can you discipline somebody for something that's not listed in a job description? So I certainly think it's well past high time that there is a well-worded, all-inclusive contract, or job description rather, for the assistant clerk. And I don't know if we're prepared to do that tonight, but certainly before a new person is hired, there should be a meeting that addresses that.
State statute is the assistant works for the clerk.
And is appointed by the clerk.
So-
All we have the power to do is set a salary. And
Within the contract, because it's set out in the contract too.
The only way you're going to get away from it is if you hire 2 more people for the road crew and then get rid of the assistant clerk off of the contract.
Because
We have to have 5 people to have a union. That is how the dump attendant and the assistant clerk got onto the union.
way back when.
Way back when Mike Blair was on the board. So, as long as that is a union position, we're in a unique position that by the contract, we can discipline the assistant if they don't meet their job description, but if there's no job description, we can't. But on the other hand, he or she is an employee of the clerk, and we have no say over them as a board. So now you've got the state saying we have no authority over them, and the contract saying we do.
could the assistant actually technically, well, I guess anybody can be on a union. I was just wondering if the union contract actually was legal, because the union contract is with the select board. That is not an employee of the select board. We do fund it, but we don't actually technically, she doesn't work for us because the clerk is an elected position and it's somebody. So is that actually legal for them to be under a contract that is with us when they're not employed by us?
Well, that's a question I can't answer.
No, and it's a question that's presented a lot of heartache, particularly at tax collection time.
So you want to do a description, but does the clerk have to?
I think it should be generated by the clerk and approved by the select board.
Then again, though, anything she generates, we have no oversight on. I mean, that's the thing is, we have no oversight on a clerk.
No, and that's exactly what the problem was with the treasurer. We have no oversight on the treasurer. They're an elected position. I can yell and scream, or any of you can yell and scream as much as you want, and they can say, look at my finger.
Yeah, but this is even different. She is a union, or he or she, the position's a union position, which makes it even more
complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're negotiating, spending time negotiating for the clerk, basically, who doesn't have the ability to actually have a union contract.
Yeah, and it's not, I tried to read the contract to see how much, there's not a lot of information on the assistant clerk position in there.
No.
There's only a few references to it, and it's not,
Right.
there's not a lot in there. I agree, I think Janice should put together a description and we should review it, at least we have a description in there.
So
Time for
have you
discipline.
seen this two-page document that Janice?
Well, I did see it, but that's not really a job description.
No, but I mean, it has some of the bones that could be used to make a job description. And I think we should have a meeting with the clerk and say, we're paying for an assistant clerk and these are the things we'd like to see that person doing.
And she has the option to say yes or no.
She does.
I mean, I guess
And
the
we
only
have
thing,
the option to say, well, then the salary's gonna be $14 an hour and not 19.
well, see, the problem is there is, we've
That's
got a
the
union,
contract.
we got a union contract with the, I just don't know how that's even a legal contract for us to be putting them under when they're not employed by,
Do you open that up now, or do you open it up before the next negotiation?
Problem is, if you don't open it up now and you wanna get it changed, it'll be too late. There's your next hang-up. If you wait until the contract starts, or till we negotiate the contract in the fall, the position will already be filled. They will be a union employee at that point.
right, yeah.
The position's already closed now, she's already got her applicants anyways, the position's closed, regardless, it's gonna be filled before.
And that's another thing that, who said it's open, who said it's closed? I mean, you know, and I sit here looking like a goddamn idiot because I don't know.
I just saw it.
I know. And it would be nice to have a board that knows what's going on.
Well, back again, that's part of the, you know, she's an elected official. I mean, I'm sure she could say she likes more information from us at certain times. So, I mean, it's just back to the fact of the employment contract that we have no say over, but we've got it. We are locked into her, but she isn't locked into us, is basically the way that works. Because we can't fire her, but we have to pay her.
So who would write a letter of discipline? The clerk, right?
She's the clerk's, or whoever would be the clerk's employee.
Yeah.
I mean, the legislature's clear on that.
May I speak? So if the select board sets the maximum budget for the clerk assistant, then the clerk would define what the correct pay is based on what they're asking them to do. And they would define that as well as define disciplinary if they fire them. The select board is setting the foundation for the amount that they should be paid.
Right.
But ultimately, if the clerk decided they don't want to work and the assistant was willing to work all the time, then they would have the budget to say, will you work for this amount? And if they said yes, you would have no say in whether or not the clerk was not working at all. But if she found someone who would do that, or the clerk who's elected found someone who would do that, that would be fine. And as a town member, I wouldn't care as long as the work is being completed. And if the work's not being completed, then the clerk who's been elected, hopefully the town
Would discipline.
will next time not elect that person.
Right.
If they have the power to select the assistant, they should also
A point.
have the budget to decide how it's spent. based on the work they're asking to do.
They don't.
Right. That's what's weird. The hard part now is, it's like this thing, talking the pay and the discipline is in this.
I understand, I mean,
So the question for us is if we want to deal with this piece.
either that or you hire 2 road crew members and then you
We haven't-
don't have an assistant.
We haven't had much luck getting one.
I'm just,
You said you had 2 of them that you liked?
So with this, I mean, you put this up for discussion, right? Because the board really, or do you want the board to actually do some wording and then Janice saying,
I would
Thank
like
you
to
very
see,
I think we should be doing the wording
Right.
because it doesn't, I mean, if she wasn't presented to us to look at it, but she's the one that makes all the decisions on it right now. So we can spend all the time in the world putting together a description.
right, which she can throw right in the garbage can if she doesn't really care to hear from us that day.
She should want to have a job description for that position.
No, I agree with you 100% on that. Because
so.
if you're going to apply for a job, wouldn't you want to know what they're looking for?
And then, the other thing is if she has the right to appoint, she put the posting out, she interviewed, wherever she selected candidates, closed it, right? And then she's not asking us for a description. If she did, she should have done that long before this started.
So what's the answer when your phone rings and somebody says, I went in there to pay my taxes and they wouldn't take
Say, call
my
the clerk.
tax? Well, that's what they did. They went to the clerk or the assistant clerk, either one. I mean, it's,
can you do what other towns do and you put a lockbox where they can slip their?
sure, there's a thing there, but people don't use it. You know,
That's their choice.
Okay, well, I would say we brought up a lot of confusing discussion, but there's not a lot of activity we can do on it, so. Let's move on to the FEMA thing, unless you...
Okay, that is just a note that FEMA is finally coming up with something other than flat maps. They're basing their floodplain maps on USGS maps that show the gradations. And if you want to be part of a presentation, that's happening on the 13th at 9 o'clock, and
Where is that?
it's a virtual.
Okay.
So we can get you that information, or it may have been one of those things I forwarded in the emails, but
Now,
I think this is really good information for people. It's
this is
going to be a lot more
basically gonna
fair than the way it's been.
pertain to flood insurance.
Mhm.
Is-
Yeah.
So people who were required may not have to have it, is what you're thinking?
Correct. And I don't have anything else unless anybody else has any other.
I'll make the motion we adjourn.
All
I'll
right.
second it.
Motion to adjourn at 8:45. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.